No, I am not a man of rituals. I'm trying to think about it to ask, even when it comes to lovemaking, whether I have rituals. Hello, this is James Whyte, Uncle Whyte of Roverman Productions. I am the CEO and Artistic Director of Roverman Productions, the leading live theater company in Ghana. And I'm glad to answer a few questions and to share my thoughts over a 17-year-long journey with you. On the 6th of September 2008 at the National Theatre, that was the day we premiered Unhappy Wives, Confused Husbands, the biggest success story of theater up to that point. And leading up to that day, I kept wondering, how do we keep this going? Once a year will not cut it. Once a month will not do, because that seemed unrealistic. But I wanted a platform. The goal and the vision was to create a platform that would give Ghanaian families somewhere to go on a regular basis. So I was hoping that the Roverman shows will become the platform that couples can bond on. That every quarter, if a family doesn't go out at all, at least once a quarter, they have a good place to go to, a decent place to go to for a decent entertainment, a fun-filled evening that can take them through the days ahead with joy, with excitement. And so a quarterly show seemed much more realistic than an annual show or even a half-yearly show. And so that was why the promise was made. So the question is, do I remember? Yes, I remember the day, I remember the time, and I remember the reason why it was made. The interesting thing is that it is becoming that for a number of couples. It has not become wholesale yet, but the few who have experienced the platform so far, it is working like that for them. I met a man who said, Uncle Bo, a ticket to your show always gets me forgiveness from my wife. So if I offend my wife, I know that all I have to do is to wait for the next Whyte play, buy a ticket home, and we'll make up and we'll talk. And then we'll move on from there, because the anticipation of what we're going to watch always makes us put everything aside so we can build a better relationship. So I'm glad we made that promise, but even more grateful to God for the grace to have kept that promise. If I knew how difficult it would have been, I'm sure I would have hesitated to make that promise, or I wouldn't have made that promise with that same enthusiasm and excitement that I did at the National Theatre on the 6th of September. But don't get me wrong, I will not have it any other way. If I had the chance to do it again, I will make the same promise and try to achieve it. Because you see, the challenge of meeting that promise has made me a better man. It has made my team, everyone in my team, better. It has given us more focus. I think we've done more growing in every way, emotionally, spiritually, socially, for some people, physically, in those 17 years. So it has been a worthwhile adventure. It has been a great adventure. It has been a very rewarding journey, and I am glad that I get to do this. And we'll keep it going as long as God gives us grace. What was at stake if we failed? Roverman had been born on the back of a conviction. The conviction that I was going to work in the area of my gifting, and if I failed, to starve if I had to. The Spirit of God, and I'm sorry I'm throwing the Spirit of God at you, the Spirit of God told me challenged me to work in the area of my gifting. The Spirit of God said, a lot of people are more comfortable working in the area of their training, the area of their certificate. Not many people work with the area of their gifting. But the Spirit of God said, those who are bold to do so are those you celebrate as successful. And so work in the area of your gifting. So it was in the spirit of pursuing that mission that this challenge of quarterly show came up. So what was at stake if I had failed? Well, like I said, I was going to work in the area of my gifting, and if I starve, I starve. In other words, there was no other choice. There was no other option. It was this or starve. And I think that focus, that single-minded focus on this goal has been very, very helpful. And I'm glad I bent all my bridges. So right now, if you ask me for a certificate, I don't have one. You know why? Because I knew my own weakness. And I knew that if I encountered challenges, I'll pick my certificates and go and look for a job. I didn't want that. So I destroyed all my certificates. So I don't have a certificate to produce to you, because I was going to keep at this thing till God smiles on us and gives us success. I did an audition. People came to the audition, and then they stayed. They liked the experience, so they stayed. I did another audition, got in some more members. They also came in, enjoyed the experience, and then they stayed on. They saw the impact the place were having. They saw the joy it brought to so many people, so many families. And they just felt, we think we want to be part of this. And they have remained part of it. And so it's a joy of knowing we are part of something much bigger than ourselves. That has kept us going. I don't think I would have had the courage to talk to anybody and say, let's do this together. I knew what I had been asked to do, and I was not going to make anybody risk their own life, their future for this. No, and I'm sure that somebody will say that's not realistic, but that is the truth. There has not been any time when I wanted to walk away from this. No. There have been quarters where the production hasn't worked as well in terms of attendance, and where the gate proceeds have not been enough for us to even pay the cost of the production. But that is it. I take that as a reality. It never makes me wonder, why am I even doing this? And is there a future in this? And what else could I do? What are other options? No, not once. I believe so much in what I've been given to do, but that belief has been made easier because of the impact I have seen so far, and because of the feedback we have had from our patrons. Now, for instance, if you put up shows and you hear that someone was going to commit suicide, had bought the poison, come into the theater to watch the show with the poison in his pocket, as the last thing they had decided to do before they take their lives, and because of the show, because of how much they laughed, even knowing they were going to kill themselves, on that day they had decided that if I can laugh, I can still laugh, then there's more to live. Life, this is not over, and have thrown the poison away and gone back to live their lives. When you hear things like that, oh, nothing, you can deal with anything. You can deal with any situation. When you hear families talk about how much the Whyte plays have enriched their marriages, if you hear families share with you, couples share with you that we're going through this tough time, we came to watch your show, and we sat down and we talked. At our last show, after the curtain bow, I saw a couple in the hall. They were talking and thrashing things out for more than 20 minutes after everybody had left the auditorium. When you hear that and you see that, when you hear of doctors recommending the show to their patients who are struggling with stress, and say, look, you need to find a relief to your stress, go and watch an Whyte play. When you hear that, then you can pay any price. You can take any beating and still do this with gladness. So yeah, never. No, I am not a man of rituals. I'm trying to think about it, to ask, even when it comes to lovemaking, whether I have rituals. Nah, I don't think I have it. No. I think I move more with conviction. I'm not one to expect life to be easy. My life has not been easy. I don't ask for ease. I don't ask for it to be easy. All I am concerned about is that it's got to be done, and it will be done. One way or the other, it will be done. It's got to be done. There's no other option. It's got to be done. And it will be done. And so, no rituals. I'm more likely to be focused on the date, to be focused on getting it done more than thinking of any other rituals. And so every now and then, of course, I have very wonderful people and beautiful people around me. And then they will come, and in my office, they have something they call gentle reminder. There is nothing gentle about those reminders, but they call it gentle reminders. So they will throw it at me every now. I think sometimes they look at me, and when they think that, oh, the man, he's too relaxed, he seems so happy. Then they come to me, Uncle, well, just a gentle reminder, just for you to know that a quarter is coming and the place should be ready. But no, we go with it, and it's always been a wonderful adventure. Some of the people I work with are very heavy. Raising them will be difficult too. All right, no, just kidding. I think this is where I thank God for my varied background. Selling books, selling money, selling cars, selling pharmaceuticals, selling ideas. These are all jobs I have done. So you learn practices, and I've done all these things at the highest levels of management. So I came to theater with solid management background, a solid management background, a solid marketing background, a solid human resource background, a solid project management background. So all that come together in my running of the productions. When I'm directing a play, I do not see myself as a director. I see myself as a human resource developer. I am developing human resource. And so by the time I take a cast through any play, I believe they would have had more faith in themselves, more confidence, and be more determined to make a success of their lives, because they would have seen what they can do with their lives if they put their minds to it. And so the best practices in how to get the best out of people, but even more importantly, to be the example of what I want to see, to be the difference. And then others will see the difference and seek to be that. Treat people well is a key mantra for me. Treat people with respect. And let people know they are capable of more. And when you are able to let them see that, they rise to it. Does excellence wear you out? I believe that is the question you're trying to ask. It does, but it is a kind of wearing you out that makes your sleep sweet. I don't know if that is making sense, because then you are able to rest. I think one of the tragedies of life are people who are not giving their best but still get tired and take rest, because then you can't rest properly, because somewhere at the back of your mind there's guilt, knowing that I am not doing my best, I haven't given my best. But the kind of fatigue that comes from pursuing excellence, of giving your best, is that kind that gives you the best possible rest. Your sleep is sweet. Your rest is refreshing, because you rest with joy. You rest with peace, knowing that I am living fully and I'm living my best life. So is it exhausting? Yes. I mean, if you are rehearsing on a weekend or a holiday, if you are rehearsing for 10 hours, of course, that will wear you out. That will wear you out. But then you go away knowing there's nothing else I'd rather do than that joy, that joy, that sense of even gratitude that you get to do this. You get to live your dream. You get to live your dream. That helps. And then when all that is done and you meet the patrons and they're talking, especially when you hear them arguing that this is the best play ever, or somebody, I think every now and then somebody comes to me and say, Uncle Bo, I don't think you can improve this play. I don't think you can do anything better than this play. That brings joy and smile, because I always tell them, well, buy your ticket for next quarter and let's all see. So that helps. How do I rejuvenate? How do I rekindle the passion, the creativity? By living fully, by embracing life as fully as we can, living fully in the day, in the moment. That helps me a lot. Surrounding myself with people who are creative or even crazy, that helps. Reminding myself why I am on this journey also helps. The goal, what we're trying to do, recognizing that we haven't quite scratched the surface yet. After 17 years, I know that we are nowhere near where we can take this. So that also gives the impetus to do even more. It's a nice way of putting it that when you die, what would you want to be remembered for, and what would the next generation remember you for? But I think it's a good thing you didn't ask it that way, because my answer to that, when it has been asked directly, has always been that when I die, I'm gone. I am gone. Whatever you say or do not say is my back case. No, I'm not concerned about that. I'm concerned about today. Am I honoring God? Am I doing the best I can? Am I treating people with respect, relating to people well? Am I making the most of the opportunity? Am I making the most of the 24 hours I've been blessed with today? Am I pushing the frontiers further, or have I become too comfortable? Those are the things that concern me. And I believe that if every day I do the best I can, every day I seek to honor God, every day I try to bring value. Every day I try to respect people. Then, as you put it, when all is said and done, God will be on it, because that is what matters. It's not about a Whyte. If God is on it, my life has been worth living. None of them. I don't live my life with fear. I don't live, so nothing, it doesn't scare me. Because the God who called me to this does not disappoint. Not just about Whyte. Does not disappoint anyone who depends on him. And that is the truth. I'm sorry if this is becoming a bit too religious, but that is the truth, that God does not disappoint. And as long as I remember where even the first play came from, the first play did not come because Whyte is a fantastic writer. It came because God was merciful and gifted me, gave me this gift, gave me these opportunities, and gave me the ability to do this. And that God remains God. Oh, then will there be a time when he will not be God again? No. And if he would always be on his throne, then I know he would continue to show me goodness and mercy. No, I don't focus on theater. I don't focus on theater at all. So let me change that question. What's the one thing that surprises me the most about people's attitude to what we are doing? And it is this, the fact that a lot of people will not even expose themselves to what we are doing and still judge it. So there are people who have never come to watch any of my plays. They hear about it. They've never come to watch any of my plays, but they have views on it, and they are dismissive of it. That surprises me. I get this a lot when people come to watch our show for the very first time. And this is what they always say. I never knew something like this was happening in Ghana. Or I never knew something like this was possible in Ghana. And I tell them, of course, you would never know if you hadn't, you would never have known if you hadn't exposed yourself to it. I have a philosophy: try everything once. If you don't like it, don't do it again. And I wish that I can say this to everyone listening and watching, that try my production once. If you do not like it, you've paid your dues. But I can assure you, you will discover this is something you have been waiting for, just that you didn't know you were waiting for it. So, we're doing some great work. Join us. Let's do it together. Let's build a community, and let's live our best lives. That's the next play. My next play. My next play is a very memorable one because it focuses my attention all the time. Listen, writing a play every quarter, you can't afford to fall in love with any of them. If you did, you will not move on. You will not be able to write the next one. And so I hold the ones I have done lightly, not tightly. And then the ones I haven't done, they take all my energy and my focus. So my next play is my favorite project. I love it. It is not possible for me to pick a favorite character or a memorable one. No. Every quarter, one character takes over the play. Sometimes two takes over. And the interesting thing is that it is often a very unlikely character in the story. We may, when the script is done, when you read through the script, you wouldn't think that this person would run away with the show. And yet, by the time the process is done and we show it to the audience, there's a particular character, often very unexpected, who is taking the show and is running with it and made it his own. So, Yeah, it's fun. That's why I call it adventure, because it surprises even me involved in it, even me involved in creating it. There are elements, there are things that come up that I find surprising, unexpected, and that is what makes it such an enriching adventure. But it's an adventure I want to invite you to join, because if we can have a partnership, my team and I will write, direct, and produce a play. You would come and watch and react to it. I think that would be a fantastic partnership. So I'm keeping my promise. What about you? Just promise that at least this year, you will watch the Q3 show. At least. Never watch any of my show, Q3 show. Let's make that a promise. And then let's take it up from there. All right? God bless you. God keep you. God sustain you. God is good and faithful. Stay blessed.